I recently sat down and talked with Andrew McCarthy, actor and director. And what you might not know is that he's also a travel writer. So we chatted about travel, and you might be surprised to find out that he has a lot of the same views on travel that we do here at Meet Plan Go. This is a big question, but why is travel important to you, and why do you think it should be a part of people's lives?
The simple answer is travel obliterated my fear in the world. You know, I was, without knowing it, a very fearful person. I did a lot of things that you wouldn't think a fearful person would do. And, you know, I was acting in movies and on stage, and I'd go in front of hundreds of people and perform, and so you wouldn't think a fearful person would do that. But I found that travel illuminated that. Travel illuminates who I am, you know, and so it helped me realize that fear had been dominating my life so much. And so, you know, I walked across Spain on the Camino de Santiago for 5 weeks, you know, 500 miles across Spain, and that was a trip that changed my life. You know, in the middle of the trip, I had one of those great breakdowns that you have, and was sobbing in a field of wheat, and I had that kind of white light realization that fear had been dominating me and who I was. So much so that I was never aware of its existence until that moment of its first absence. And it was a real profound experience for me, and so from that moment, really, it changed my place in the world. And that's what started me traveling, because I thought, I want that feeling more. I felt like a better version of myself whenever I'm traveling.
I agree with you about fear. And that's one of the reasons why we're here actually today, and why we're doing this event, is we want to help people address some of these fears. When people say to you, well, you have to have a lot of money to travel, that must be expensive, or you must be rich if you're going on these big trips. What do you say? How do you help people get over that?
Well, I say nonsense, because I've done, you know, when I've shown my friends, I do the math and I show them that it's cheaper for me to travel than stay at home. They don't believe me. But I also find the more money I spend in a place, the more insulated I keep myself from the place, the more difficult it is to penetrate and the less valuable experience I have. You know, so I find the closer to the ground I travel, the more rewarding my experience. And the closer to the ground you travel, the cheaper it is to travel.
I know you normally travel solo, and the majority of our audience typically travels solo. So I'm curious, what do you do to stay safe on the road?
Well, I think the people that are going to travel and consider traveling alone have a sense of themselves to a degree that some other people might not, and have a good intuitive sort of quality. To travel, you have to be an inherent optimist to travel, you know?
You're right.
And so I think when you approach the world optimistically, you're greeted with that optimism, you know? Mm-hmm. And I found no problem being American anywhere in the world. You know, people of the world can often tell something Americans can't, is we don't seem to be able to differentiate between political ideology and people. Whereas in the rest of the world, people go, oh, I love Americans. Your government's kind of crazy, but I love Americans. You guys are great. You tip well, you know. But I think in many places in the world, people just see Americans as people, and they're interested because Americans are very open generally and interested and very curious. I just think if there's a voice calling you to travel, it needs to be watered. You know, and if we don't, well, what's the Mark Twain? Another Mark Twain line, and you'll regret more what you didn't do in 20 years than what you did. And that's been true in my life. So I just think if something's calling one to do that, it needs to be heeded.
So do you have any advice for our attendees out there who are just they're on the fence about travel? They have that spark, they have that interest. You talked about the seed and watering it. What can they do?
So I think if something is calling you to kind of go, I'd love to do that, but, well, I can't do it for this reason, this reason, this reason. I get it, I understand that, but do it anyway. Years ago, I was going down the Amazon, I was in the Amazon, I was in Manaus, and I was going to go down the river, and I was going to get on one of those big boats that ply the river, and I was terrified to do this. I'm like, I don't speak the language, where am I going to sleep on deck? And everyone's got hammocks, and they're just slinging hammocks up, and I'm the only American, non-Brazilian here. This is crazy. So I just took baby steps. I went across the street, and I bought a hammock, and I said, well, I'd need a hammock at home anyway. So I bought a hammock. Then I think, well, I'll probably be hungry on the boat. So there was a market, so I went and I bought food on the market. I go, well, I'm hungry anyway, I'll eat this later anyway. And then I went back to the boat, and I thought, well, it's only $5 to buy a ticket. I'll buy a ticket and I'll just walk around the boat and see what the boat's like. Well, I'll just hang up my hammock to see. And then suddenly I'm sailing down the Amazon with everybody. So I took just the next step. I think if you just take, whenever don't know, I know I kind of want to do something, or it feels like I might, and yet I'm afraid, and all my practicality is telling me no, that I shouldn't do it for this and this reason. I go, well, I'll just take the next little step. I'll just take the next step, the next step. And then suddenly, all those concerns behind me, and I'm like, forward thinking, and then I'm like, yes. Again, it says that sort of micro steps and baby steps sort of lead us toward where we want to go.